And we're live. Welcome to Music Matters 2020. I'm your host, Jason Tramm. We're delighted that you can join us for our unique and new podcast community where we delve into the issues and the challenges facing classical music and musicians in 2020. And there are no lack of those. And today we're going to speak with an artist who's out there working and establishing a new company called Sassoon Artists Management, Lily Sassoon. We're delighted she'll join us today. Before we do that, make sure you subscribe, hit that button below and hit the bell button for the most up-to-date information on upcoming guests and topics. Like our videos on YouTube and on Facebook, and please share them with your friends. And we're delighted you can join us today. Thank you so much for helping our community grow. We're delighted that you can join us. It's my delight and my pleasure to welcome Lily Sassoon. Welcome, Lily.
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much.
I know we're delighted that you can join us today. And in this time of global pandemic, you're starting up a new agency that's got global reach. You've got artists coming on from different places. Tell me about why you decided to start an agency in this challenging time.
I probably should start by explaining why I decided to go into this opera business to begin with. All of a sudden.
So you come from, I know you have a really interesting background. So tell us about your background before we jump into your business. Tell us about your background.
My background is I was trained as a linguist. Then my fascination with languages brought me into voice. Like I always loved the voice. I grew up listening to the opera at home. None of my parents sing, but we always had opera in the house. And opera experience was when I was 5 years old. My parents took me to see Rigoletto at some provincial opera house in Russia. I was 5, and the Soviet singers had very heavy makeup, and this makeup made Rigoletto look like devil. It was like devil with this punch. And Verdi's music, I never heard Verdi music in a live performance. I was scared to death. He's knocking, and when Rigoletto takes this corpse of his daughter, it was so scary to me. For the next 2-3 weeks, I could not sleep.
Wow.
Music was so intense. I was seeing this vision of Rigoletto and the thunder, this so dramatic sweeping music of Verdi.
That storm scene with the thunder and the thunder sheet was dramatic in its time, certainly.
That storm scene still in my head. It's still my favorite scene in all Verdi's operas. And from that point, I thought that opera is the art form that I relate the most because it's very, very intense. But I never wanted to become an opera singer, interestingly enough. And I know many opera managers kind of like maybe their opera career was singers themselves. Things didn't work out. Maybe they and then they go into management. I never had those ambitions. I was always I knew carpenters there, people who would fix lights, not the big people like the stage managers or directors or designers. I would know the little guys who actually make the scenery, who make things work. And they would let me sneak in, and I would sit somewhere in the corner of the stage or above where the TV screens are, where the singers look for cues, look for the conductors. I would sit behind this TV.
There's no better way to
And I
learn,
never,
right? There's no better way to hear the singers every night and to be a part of the productions. As a young conductor, when I
exactly.
was a very young conductor, I used to go standing room, and I would go almost every night. I was a student teacher, and I would stand in the back. And I discovered that people leave after the first and second acts. I would sneak and get closer and closer each opera. So that was some of my favorite memories.
It's unbelievable. And I was sitting literally on stage. I was seeing the singers, and I was seeing the orchestra, and I was seeing, let's say, I've seen Pavarotti, one of his last performances.
Wow.
I was watching, listening to him. And one opera that I remember the most was he was in Turandot. And then I saw that he was tired and he did not act. He was not Kalev. He was Pavarotti, but no one cared or minded because of his performance was coming through the voice. The character of Kalev came not through his acting, but through his voice. And I also saw that there were little mugs, like tea mugs with water all over the stage, placed in strategic places. And there were also little benches where he would sit and rest. Uh, I would never have been able to see that if I would be in the audience. So this relationship with opera was always going on, and I have so many opera singers friends because I just love opera singers. I just love the personality that most opera singers possess. They're very intense. I have not met one opera singer who was like that, low key or melancholic. Uh, I would say because oh, have so much air we make so much air. So I wouldn't say that they're airheads, but there is certain type of personality that you have to be to become an opera singer. And I never thought that I would ever do this professionally. And with this, I would say I have to mention one person who gave me this idea to go professionally. It was Natasha Novitskaya, who is an opera singer, dramatic mezzo. She's a New Yorker Floridian from St. Petersburg originally, and we became fast friends, sort of like we knew each other on Facebook for a while. I would say for at least 2 3 years, and then we met once at the dress rehearsal. She invited me. We clicked. We started talking about music. We talked more about music and more about music, and she tells me, "Listen, uh, why won't you work with singers? You love singers so much. Why won't you work with singers?" And I have a business background. I know understanding of voices as I was trained as speech language pathologist uh, in the United States. I do know the anatomy and physiology of voice production. And I did work with singers, with children singers, with adult singers, with adults who are just voice issues. So for me to understand how voice is working and why that is sometimes doesn't sound right was not that difficult to apply to not to judge but critique, sort of to critique the voices when I hear them. And Natasha is saying, listen, you have business experience and you hear well, you have the ears, and more than anything you have passion for the opera. And I do. I play opera all from New York City to Poconos, where I am right now. Listen. I have already opera singers that I know, and I would see if I can make things happen for that. And of course, during COVID, it's not possible, but you can still prepare the ground for that. And working with my singers, I start learning even more about what is happening in the opera all around and how COVID affected opera scene. And before I move forward to individuals, this agency actually get singers diversity, sort of thought diversity, geographic diversity, and I'm still building my agency. but I will never want to grow to the point that I cannot provide personal attention to my artist. So as long as I can talk to my artists almost every day, to some of them I speak almost every day, as long as I can manage them, I will be taking on more singers. If I cannot, then I will not do this. Going back to Natasha, uh, Natasha gave me this, not the green light, but she said, you really can do that. And I do have business experience. I brought a business that was not doing so well into a triple income for business, medical practice, for example, and in my own speech language pathology practice. And now all I want to do actually is to do work with opera singers.
Well, that's very exciting, and it's your passion and your love comes together, and you've got some really interesting artists on your roster. I've been through your roster; I know several of them. And how did you meet some of these people? How did you make the connections?
Every single singer is on my roster I know personally, and if I did meet this person, I think there's only two singers that I haven't met in live, but everyone else I know them personally. Natasha is my friend, and I'm just in love with her voice. And she sent me the clip of singing Delilah. I will be probably just a little piece of it to save time so that everyone can speak. I'll tell you, Jason, that in the beginning I thought I would just highlight a couple of my artists for your show, and then I will be just talking. And I already spoke a lot. And then I thought, no, I want everyone to have 2 minutes to speak. So most people prepared very short pieces, and Natasha had to cut for Delilah, but I've heard it in entirety. So if you can play Delilah by Natasha Novitskaya, and then we will talk about the other
Yeah,
singers.
Natasha was on our show featured not too long ago. We had a delightful conversation, and she's a good friend. I'm going to play Natasha Novitskaya. Here's from Samson and Delilah, like Sassoon.
Yes.
That was Natasha Novitskaya, who dramatic mezzo, who just sang the aria from Sassoon by Sassoon, and we performed that together recently in Merkin Hall. We did a concert with orchestra, and she so beautifully sang that piece. So you've worked with her now, and you've worked with this voice. Tell me what you think about the voice and this person.
Well, it must be that those singers who have access to professional sound engineers or people who are really good with technology are the lucky ones. And Natasha, whose son is a professional sound engineer, they went out, they bought the professional quality microphones, whose son guided, directed, and mixed and processed this recording. Because otherwise, singers are very sensitive about how they sound. I mean, even when I hear my voice on a recording, it just unbearable for me to hear myself. And singers who are so attuned to hear all the flaws in their voice, they hear it and it's bad. And I've learned from Natasha, from Hosanna, that bigger voices, the bigger the voice, the more difficult to capture it without any distortion.
Always the case for singers.
Yeah.
Dramatic voices always have a challenge with that.
Yeah, dramatic voices, it's difficult to present, to show them the way they sound without processing. And when the singer sings on stage and you're sitting in the audience, the voice is already being processed. It's processed through the medium, through the air that this goes through. But then if you go through microphone, changes into electromagnetic energy, then goes through the screen, changes back into acoustic energy. The voice being processed 3, 4, 5 times before it reaches our ears when we listen through the computer, through the internet. That's unfortunate. Now, if I would
That's one of the reasons why opera is such an important art form to see live, because unless you're in the hall, you can never tell really how big a voice is. A dark voice may not be that big, but on a recording it sounds massive. But in the hall, sometimes the greatest voices, that's what makes live singers so exciting. And a voice like Natasha's being in the hall is really exciting. And you feel the amount of decibels.
Yeah. Opera is one, operatic singing is most demanding. It's opera singers are the athletes of God. Pop singers, they already used to sing through the microphone. The opera singers listen to themselves sing on stage or in live. And then all of a sudden, hear yourself going through Facebook feed or through YouTube feed. It's, I would say, to be very disappointing, and distortion really affects the voice. It's not the same voice. When we listen to the operatic singing online, we're not really singing, not listening to that singer. We're listening to some kind of a version of this voice. It's not a voice. So opera has to come back to become a live performance.
That's for sure.
Again.
I tell my students at Seton Hall that when you listen to recordings, because so often young students, when they hear recordings of great singers, they try to emulate that voice exactly. When really, unless it's a live performance, and even then, it's hard to do. They often doctor the sound. They often edit the sound. They'll add more high overtones. They'll change it slightly. So or they do the high note over and over again on a recording. These are all some of the challenges they face.
Exactly.
Well, this will be fun to have this conversation because we're all doing this across the industry, and I look forward to hearing your business perspective as well. It'll be very interesting.
first thing I see, I look for the possibility to hear live opera. Always, that's my first thing. I have to.
Well, give
And
us a
I
second.
went.
We're having an audio issue. We're gonna fix the audio issue. Sometimes when we're on the internet, the gods of the internet are not kind. We lost our sound for a second. It'll come back in a second. Let's make sure we have our connectivity. 1 second. We have the sound again. Sorry about that, folks. When we do this show, we're limited by the gods of the internet, and sometimes they're not kind. So you were saying about your how you've discovered these artists, these international artists. So
I
tell
was
us about that.
speaking about Andrei Novak. Andrei Novak is a lyric soprano. She's a Romanian. She lives in Bucharest. I was in Bucharest in November, and I always look for an opera house. Any place I go, I look for opera house. I bought tickets and I went to see Le Nozze di Figaro. And while I was watching this Le Nozze di Figaro, and I have seen, I don't know how many Le Nozze di Figaros I have seen in my life, but probably at least 10, 12 different productions in my lifetime. And I was not really inspired by that until I heard Barbarina. Barbarina was Andrei Novak. I heard her. Then it happened to be another recital the next day. I went again and I heard her again. And then I started to stalk her. I just went and I talked to her. And that was long before I decided to create a management, opera management company. And I just said, I fell in love with your voice. And I just think that, there are many other places you should be singing. And that's how, and then I hugged and kissed her. That's what I'm saying. I have physical contact with all my artists. So she's now on my roster. I speak to her almost every day. And she prepared a little speech, and she's going to sing one of the art songs by Romanian composer Enescu, who was writing music in French.
Wonderful composer, George Enescu.
Yeah. Yes.
Here we go.
Hello everybody, thank you very much for having me here. Hello everybody, thank you very much for having me here on Music Matters. It's a great joy and big honor for me, thank you. I want first to say hi to Lily Sassoon. Hi. Hello everybody. Thank you very much for having me here on Music Matters. It's a great joy and big honor for me. Thank you. I want first to say hi to Lily Sassoon. Hi Lily. She's my manager and I'm very, very lucky to have her in this wonderful journey that I make in this life because wow, she's amazing. Like she's so passionate and she knows what she's talking about. She has intuition, she has very big knowledge of voices and of repertoire, and she's a wonderful friend, and she always gives me the best advice ever. So thank you Lily for being with me, and really hope to build something great together. Okay, coming right back here, I'm in Bucharest, Romania. I just finished a rehearsal at Bucharest Opera. Yes, we do rehearsals. I'm very happy and excited about that because after this whole period, oh my god, I was so much looking forward. The Bucharest Opera makes this wonderful events twice or maybe 3 times a week. There are outdoor events with, of course, less public, proper distancing, respecting all the rules and regulations very strictly, actually. And these are live concerts, of course, with tickets, live streamed, and after that they stay online on the on multiple platforms, so a lot of people have access to these wonderful events, and I'm very happy that Bucharest Opera does that. Actually, my opinion is that this is the perfect step and healthy step towards the normality that we all want so badly to come back to us. Okay, for me, there will come some beautiful projects. I'm very emotional, yes. I have a recital, beautiful recital with Beethoven music and Puccini and Anatol Vieru, which is a Romanian contemporary composer. Very beautiful music, yes, and complex, I admit. And after that, I will have another dream come true with me singing and becoming Micaela from Carmen by Georges Bizet. So, these are the news on this side, and let me just send a message. Please, all of us, stay healthy, love yourself, love each other, and with all you've got, make this world a better place, because all together we can do it. So, have a beautiful evening, and hope to see each other very soon live, enjoying the magic of music. Bye bye.
And that was a lovely Romanian soprano, Andrea Novik. And now we're delighted to thank you so much for sharing that artist and her words with us. It's beautiful to hear how things are in Romania. Do we know the current state of opera in Romania these days?
I don't know. I'm not on stage. I'm in the audience. But to imagine, constantly have to imagine this. It's like special effects in the Hollywood movies. They imagine that there are dinosaurs around them, or that they're uh, about to jump from the plane, when in fact you're just standing in front of the green screen.
Certainly an interesting production. Well, it's great to hear that some of the Eastern European houses are able to open up. That's really exciting, and at least that gives us hope here in the States.
Yes, it's sort of like different countries have different approaches, different mentalities deal with crisis differently. And my other singer, Annabella Baric, is one of the two artists that I have not met personally. I have not get a chance to shake hands with her or hug her or kiss her. But once you open your management, you have a website, and here and there people hear about you, and then I'm getting emails and people ask to listen to them, to audition and put them on a roster. It's a United States agency, and I'm looking for placement in the United States. And when Annabella Baric approached me, I said, okay, so send me your videos. And she sent me some of the Baroque arias, and I love Baroque opera so much. And when I heard and watched those videos, there was something about her that was like instantly attractive to me. I liked her right away. There are other singers that I had to say, no, there is a personal chemistry, even if you don't meet the person. Which I realized that you can like someone or not like someone just watching them on the video sing. And when I've seen Annabella sing and act, I thought, I really want her. I want to meet her. I want her to be a star, like my other singers, all stars. And she's Croatian. She prepared a little clip. I asked her to comment on what's happening in Croatia, what's happening with opera business in Croatia, and also send a little clip from Handel. That's the video that when I watched, I thought, I want her. She's spunky, she's sexy, she has personality. And I would just say that when I look for my singers, it's not just the voice, I want them to have personality, like charisma, be interesting.
In order to have that career, they have to have that something special, that sparkle on the stage, the acting, the drama, and of course the voice. But I look forward to hearing this wonderful voice from Croatia.
Yes. So he's going to say a few words.
Hello, my name is Annabella Baric, and I'm with Sassoon Artists Management in New York City for my North American representation. I would like to tell you something about the opera and the future of opera in COVID-19 circumstances in Croatia, as far as I know. So I'm a soprano living in Croatia, and currently I'm a freelance musician without contract with the opera company in Zagreb. But I have worked with them on several occasions, and COVID-19 hasn't had that much of an impact in Croatia on the opera world, because opera and the culture sector in Croatia are mostly government funded. So that's something that works all the time, and the theaters kept having funding, and nothing really stopped. Except for the shows, of course, but everybody kept on working. For now, the situation stays the same. There's still no opera in the opera houses, but all the opera houses are organizing concerts out in the open, so open air performances or some concert performances of operas. But what the future holds, we still don't know. Hopefully for all of us young singers there will be more opportunities, and hopefully this situation will get better soon.
That was a very talented artist from the Sassoon Artists Management roster, and from Croatia. First one was from Romania, now we're in Croatia, and a wonderful production she's in too. Beautiful.
Yes, I would love to see more Baroque operas being performed all over, and they might be really suited to post-COVID opera world, as they require less orchestra, not many choruses, and usually not that long. And I would think that it could be done in contemporary settings really well. This production at the Met, remember, was an opera that was performed Baroque, but it was done in a contemporary setting.
Oh, it was such a challenge to do Baroque operas at the Met with such a gigantic space. Those European houses are so perfectly suited with their size and the pitch smaller. And, but yeah, I saw Rosalinda at the Met a few seasons ago, and that was like a dream team cast. And even then, it was so hard because it's such a massive place to sing Baroque music. You lose the intimacy of this Baroque art form, which is meant for smaller houses. But that's just my personal opinion. But I love that voice, beautiful young voice. And has she made her American debut? Has she sung in America yet?
Not yet. She is a young singer, and I would say everything is ahead of her.
Great.
And regarding Baroque at the Met, that's why we had New York City Opera. New York City Opera, I used to go to New York City Opera to watch my Baroque operas. I've seen Rameau Plate with Mizrahi costumes. I've seen all those rare jewels of Baroque operas. Ariodante, Assis and Galatea was all at New York City Opera. And now they're kind of indeed small for the Met, but they might be reimagined or done differently. But you're right, in Europe, everything is kind of small scale, and they just go perfectly. Yes, and I'm so glad that I found Annabelle with this spunky and very beautiful and I'm not even afraid of this word, presentation.
It was a very sexy staging of that scene. It was really well acted and beautiful actors, and that's the dramatic part of opera.
Beautifully. His bass, his bass profondo.
If you could say that again, we had a little bit of a sound glitch here with the internet. Just do that again. Introduce your next artist. Thank you.
His name is Roger Krebs, and I also know him. I also met him. I met him early spring before all this craziness started. I met him, I think, maybe in February. That's when I met him. And we met at the cafe on Upper West Side of the Lincoln Center, and I saw he is tall, like you say, okay, he is a Wagnerian bass. And there was also something about him. I listened to him sing. Natasha also knows him. You might have heard him. He was coming to New York City, actually, to work for acting, for actors. And I just loved his voice. And I said, would you like to be part of people? Take my chances. People approach me, but I'm not shy like Andrea. I just went after her. And with Roger, I also went after him. I just said, come to me. Come and be with me.
I've been in the opera business for 25 years, and a shy agent doesn't make sense. So that's wonderful to have that fire in the belly to go up to those artists and to introduce yourselves. That's a really good set of skills.
Yes, I would hear someone you. If I want someone, I will work. You will never be on a back burner. So I want you to, and I asked also Roger, I said, Roger, I'm not in Switzerland. I don't know when I will ever be able to get back to Switzerland. And I said, can you just come and say a few words of what's happening with opera in Switzerland? And they have a different situation, different from Croatia, different from Romania. So he recorded a few words, and he would sing. He sent me a aria, Beethoven's from Fidelio, and let's listen to him.
Wonderful. This is Roger Krebs from Switzerland.
Dear Lily, thank you so much for the invitation to the Music Matters show. And thank you for your great support, especially in these difficult times. I'm Roger Krebs, a Swiss-based but living in Munich, Germany. I also sing at the Landestheater Schleswig-Holstein in Flensburg, which is an important theater in the very north of Germany. Actually, Flensburg is located near to the Danish border, which means that I'm seeing into cultural life both in the north and the south of Germany and Europe. As everywhere, the COVID shutdown has been a disaster for artists in Germany as well. Now we are slowly trying to start a cultural life again and to develop new concepts to reach our audience. Today in Flensburg at our theater we had the first meeting after the summer break, exactly 5 months after our last show before the lockdown. The new management team presented us some new concepts for the next few months until the end of the year. They hope that we will be able to perform 1 musical and 2 short operas, no longer than 90 minutes and without the orchestra on the break. The musical will be given with a small orchestra in front of approximately 160 people. I will start rehearsing Quetzal and Smetana's Barber's Bride in December, and I'm really looking forward to it. So let's hope the best. In between we have smaller concerts from time to time, and at the moment I keep studying my new roles for the second part of the season. Preparing audition stuff and learning new skills, like recording and producing my own music clips with sound and video. I also constantly work on vocal technique and my song repertoire, as I believe it's important to always keep moving. Singing is not a 9-to-5 job, but needs more commitment, even and especially in times of crisis. So, stay healthy and have a good time. Bye.
Hat man nicht auch Gold bei Leben, kann man nicht ganz glücklich sein. Traurig schleppt sich vor das Leben, mancher Kummer stellt sich ein, mancher Kummer stellt sich ein. Doch wenn's in der Tasche fein klingelt und rollt, da hält man das Schicksal gefangen und Macht und Liebe verschafft dir das Gold und stille das kühnste Verlangen, das kühnste Verlangen und stille das kühnste Verlangen. Das Glück dient wie ein Knecht für Sold, es ist ein schönes, schönes Ding, das Gold, das Gold. Es ist ein schönes Ding, das Gold, ein goldenes, goldenes Ding, das Gold, das Gold. Wenn sich nichts mit nichts verbindet, ist und bleibt die Summe klein. Wer bei Tisch nur Liebe findet, wird nach Tische hungrig sein, wird nach Tische hungrig sein. Drum lächle dein Zufall als gnädig und hold und segne allen Feuer streben, das Liebchen im Arme, das Liebchen im Arme beute das Gold, so mögt ihr viel Jahre durchleben, so mögt ihr viel Jahre durchleben. Das Glück dient wie ein Knecht umsollt, es ist ein mächtig, mächtig Ding, das Gold, das Gold. Es ist ein mächtig Ding, das Gold, ein mächtig, mächtig Ding, das Gold, das Gold. Es ist ein mächtig Ding, das Gold, das Gold.
And we've just heard from Roger Krebs, a bass from Switzerland, a beautiful voice and a powerful presence. And it was great to hear his words. Yes, it's interesting to hear the different the way this is affecting artists all over Europe. Certainly, it's very different than here in the States, isn't it?
Yes, totally different. Even within Europe, I know Amsterdam, Holland opened completely. I know that UK. As of tomorrow, they will have indoor concerts. In the meantime, in the US, it's still they're reimagining how they call it. There are no performances yet. So I love Roger Krebs' voice because you see he has this presence, and he has his voice lots of overtones in his tempo. And I think that his voice is gonna just get bigger and bigger and more profondo. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be. He's a very young guy.
I love working with older basses. Their voices just sink and get depth and like a fine wine.
Exactly. They get riper, richer, and very, very deep. The performance comes with the years. And the parts that are written, he will be just there to sing those very profound parts. And I wish that contemporary composers write operas more with the leading roles for basses, for people like Roger Krebs.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Now I want to talk to you about my other artist, and her name is Alla Perchikova. She is a Russian-German citizen. She lives in Germany. She's become my good friend as well. And the first in a concert in December, the one where I met you as well. I think I did not meet you then. Were you there?
We did a concert in March. We did the concert, the Opera Gems concert in March, where I worked with Alla.
It was in February that I could not attend. That concert I could not attend. I wrote that. Humongous. She reminded me of Maria Guligina voice, sort of, is that the voice carries, and there is no end. Unless you stop it, it's going to just keep going on with the same intensity. Doesn't even get any smaller, doesn't dissipates in the air.
Beautiful Verdi soprano, rich and warmth, and never strident in the sound. Doesn't have to oversing.
Exactly. I mean, that she has that voice that I loved, and voices. People have preferences for voices, right, Jason? It's the colorings of the voice. What I look for the voice in a singer is that it sounds personal, so that when I hear to this singer in the middle of the night, I still should be able to recognize who it is. Like, no one can mistake voice of Pavarotti with any other tenor. And another from basses like Samuel Remy, I would always recognize his voice. So the voice has to reflect the personality. And when I heard Ala, I thought, well, she has her own signature sound. So I said, I want you to be part of my agency. Would you believe in me? And it's tough because I'm new to business, right? I'm new to business, and I'm coming in this in COVID when no one even has a job. People are just sitting at home and don't know what's going to happen. And I'm creating another business, like extra competition for people.
Certainly a challenging time to be starting something new, but the singers are all getting ready to come back out. They were all waiting. What should singers be doing during this time? What do you think they should be doing?
I think that singers should work on their music. They should take this opportunity. Like, I know what composers are doing. I know what music producers are doing. SoundCloud of music production, I think not quadrupled, probably increased by tenfold. Because composers, producers, they just sit at home with their computer and instruments and they make music. Instrumentalists practice their instruments. Singers are such social creatures. Pianists can sit 8, 9 hours at the piano and keep playing. Singer cannot sing for 9 hours, right? Because the vocal cords cannot, you can kill yourself with that. And singers also need a piano or something, and they need more social interaction than anyone else. And I would say you just have to sing and practice properly, imagining the final goal, like learn a new part. Learn a new part. I would say it's always better to accumulate as big repertoire as possible and have these roles already under your belt. At least you know the text and the music. And when the time comes, you can do the coaching, but at least you know the part. And what I also tell my singers is that as much as you want to go and sing, you should not rush and get exposed. Like I would talk later, like one of our singers actually started to perform early and got infected with COVID, so he would be out of commission for at least a month. So you need to work at home. And singers want to go on stage, they want to perform because that's what opera singers are. They need sing for people. They go like moth to the light towards the stage, literally like moth flies to the light, always going in, because they are made for that. But you just have to hold and wait.
We're losing you there for a second.
Opera singers,
If you could do that last sentence again, we lost you for a second there, transmission wise.
I would say that opera singers should use the time when they cannot perform to learn the roles and prepare their parts and study. I would not recommend singers but you yourself, the singer, you yourself still need lessons. You still need to work and perfect your voice because there is no end to the perfection, right? And voice changes. Like woman's voice, depending on her hormonal level, fluctuates, and the woman can sound differently in the different times of the month, as you probably know. And I don't think that the singers who are in their prime that should give a voice lessons to some other students, even if there is a pressure for financial reasons. I still think that you need to stick to yourself and work on your career. Definitely. We said that I want us to listen to Alla Perchikova singing a bit, an aspect from Gioconda. because I talk so much about her. Let's hear her sing.
Here we go. Alla Perchikova. We're having a problem with that video. It's not queuing up. We're working on it right now, but we will hear Alla before the time is up. We'll bring her back on. So tell us about some of your other artists, whoever you're working with, and that your agency is promoting.
Right. There is another singer that I have not met in person, but I feel as if I know her actually quite well. She dramatic mezzo-soprano from the city of Vladimir in Russia. Her name is Anastasia Khorosheva. Her husband and I met virtually, obviously. Her husband, Vasily Khoroshev, first. And myself, tenor, alto, beautiful, very beautiful tone, great stage presence. And then I found out that he actually has a wife who is also a singer. And then I said, listen, your wife is a singer. Can I hear her sing? He links to YouTube. Very solid mezzo. She's a young woman. She lives in Russia. Her husband to record a very short video to tell in Russia. And Vasily said few interesting things, and I wanted to hear them. And then we will listen to Anastasia singing Polina's aria from The Queen of Spades.
Okay,
So,
here we go.
Happy to let you hear Anastasia and Vasily.
Hello, my name is Anastasia Khorosheva. I am mezzo-soprano.
Hello everyone, my name is Vasily Koroshev and I'm a countertenor.
First of all, I wanted to say that I'm very happy to be represented by Lily's agency. For me, it's a big honor.
And a big opportunity for
Yes.
sure. And I wanted to join to Anastasia's congratulations to Lilis. I'm very happy that she has an agency, and I'm sure that her agency will be very successful because she's a great personality and she's a great professional for sure as well. So great. I'm really hope that we really hope that the consequences of the COVID won't significantly change the state production, especially in the love scenes, because it's impossible to imagine how to imagine the love on distance. It's impossible. I don't know what will happen. The situations change every day, so
Yes.
I don't know. But
it is a great happiness to go on the stage for the first time.
For you. For you.
Since the March.
yeah.
And it will be on open air
Concert.
in Russia.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm very glad for you. You have this opportunity, great. And as I know, you will sing the piece by John Tavener.
Yes, it's wonderful and created and interesting music for me.
Yeah.
Fantastic music.
Great, so lucky. So situations change every day, and as I
Yes,
know,
every day.
the musicians wear masks at the moment.
Yes.
That's great. Safety. So we will see situation really change. Situation changes every day. Hope all will be great. Let's think positive.
Yes.
And
Let's think positive.
we wanted to say to everybody, stay healthy. And
Take care.
and
Yes.
love opera.
So goodbye.
Goodbye and
Yes.
thank you so much again
you so
for
much.
we are here. All the best. Ciao.
All the best. Ciao.
Да вспомнила подруги милые, в лугах. И я,
And that was a husband and wife team from not far from Moscow, who had some beautiful words to say. So such a dynamic pair they are, and what a beautiful, rich mezzo sound.
End up with I think German agency called Parnas, and his manager would not just easily let him go and sing.
What a small world. I had one of the other Parnas countertenors on the show, a good friend of mine, Ray Chenet, who's based in Vienna. Mm-hmm. So they're on the same roster. What a small world.
Right. Greg has other several countertenors, sort of. And as I was telling you of the recording when we were listening to Anastasia, is that when Vasily he just said, I have a wife who's a singer. And I was like, okay, like she must be like in your shadows or something. And then I listened and I said, oh my God, this is like dark, very, saturated, great voice. And she is like, you're going to be like a star couple. Like she's not going to be just to watch it on her own. Beautiful.
Very different voice types between the countertenor and the real dramatic mezzo. They may not be able to do a show together for a while, but such great, great artists, and wonderful to meet them.
Yeah, and they have great family. They have like great dynamics. You see them talk. It's a team.
We'd love to see that. Now we've gotten Alla Petrikova's video, I think, is ready to play. We'd like to hear Alla.
Yes, I'm very happy we can listen to
Alla. Is just a very warm, and working with Alla on the Opera Gems concert was such a pleasure. A great artist and a nice person. Here we go.
It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
That was from the Opera Gems concert in March, sponsored by Grandi Voce Concerts, and that was the last concert I conducted in performance in front of a live audience, so it was very special to see that performance and to hear Alla once again, and she's a wonderful person, a wonderful artist, a true Verdi soprano, and I really appreciated to hear that again. Thank you. Absolutely. So, what are you working on these days? What are you working on for these artists? How are you? You're contacting your people all over the world. It's great to hear these, to hear the stories of these artists, to hear what we're all going through, and what have you learned going through all this music and with these people?
I that opera singers, as I was saying in the beginning, that opera singers have the specific set of personality traits that are unique, I would say, to singers. But opera singers, it's a special breed of people. and they are extremely sensitive, and most of them are very self-critical and very vulnerable, very vulnerable.
We live in a
And
they live the singers. I was a singer, so I completely relate to singers so in so many ways. Before I became a conductor, I loved to sing, and
I know,
yeah, I was a comprimaria
I did not
tenor,
know.
and I sang a lot of professional chorus work. But before I became a conductor, and do you think about a singer? They face rejection on such an enormous
Yeah,
scale, so many auditions. So when they finally get a job and they've worked so hard for so many years, to watch them on the stage, you have to have a certain personality to take that and then to flourish.
yes, the rejections. And as we know, the operatic training is the longest. It literally takes so many years to develop the technique. You have to have the voice, right? You have to have the physiology, the anatomy that is suitable to produce the voice that requires for operatic singing. And then you still have to, you like never good enough. You have to pay for these voice lessons that are very expensive. You have to watch your diet. You cannot eat chocolate. You cannot drink milk. You cannot scream. You cannot talk too long. I talk to my singers, and because they're all in different time zones, and they call me and I speak to them anytime. And if they text me with question and I cannot answer right away, I would always send them, I'll get back to you. So the vulnerability of the opera singers, I feel like as if they are almost my children to that point. And I feel responsible not only to get them jobs to sing on stages, because as I said, like most of the life, they need to be. They just cannot. They would just like die without performing, without singing. That's why opera singers go on Facebook, sing for free, sing everywhere, which I think is not a good idea. Constantly sing for free and give this your work. You pay money. You pay with your time, with your sweat and blood, and just share it. And people think, oh, music is should be for free, but it doesn't come for free to those people. And what I tell them that uh, it should not be really charity work all the time. And once we finish with the singers, I will tell what I think will happen with music and how singers pay for their work. I just want to mention singer Christina Esser. She's a young artist. She's a she's an American. She's Mexican American singer. I met her in Austria, of all places, where I was going to vocal art academy, not as a singer, as a parent actually. And I met there Vladimir Chernov. I don't know if you've heard of him. He sang at the Met a lot, sang all over. He now teaches at UCLA, and his wife, Olga Toparkova, they are in tandem incredible teachers. And of course, I wanted to Chernov. I was his fan. Tears came out of my eyes involuntarily, and I was okay. I'm alone in that hall. No one can see me. Then the door opened, and a petite girl came out. And then I said, "Was it you?" She said, "Yeah." And I said, I just loved your voice. And I think I hugged her, and I said, "It's beautiful." A little time forward, I get to know her more through Facebook, through other friends. And I said, "Christina, would you like to join my roster as a young artist? Because I just love your singing." She was putting her videos on Facebook, and I was listening to her. So I went after her myself. So that's how I got her. Christina is a very multi-talented girl. She is an artist. She's a pianist, and she is one of these people who use the time of this quarantine in a very productive way. She was working on her her painting, digital painting, on her piano skills. She actually been practicing piano, drawing, and singing. And she created interesting project that, and she prepared a little video. And I said, please make it very short. And I asked, by the way, you hear the singers say nice things about me? I told everyone, please do not flatter me and do not praise me. Do not say any flattery to me, because I don't think I deserve anything so far. For the moment, I didn't do anything to deserve this praise except like giving my time and working behind the scenes. So she sent the video, a little spiel that she talks about being part of my roster and that project. And then this little project, she sings from Anna Bolena, and you would see the drawing that she made, it envelops, and the piano accompaniment she did herself.
Wow, multi-talented artist.
Unbelievable, yes.
I look forward to meeting her, and this is someone I don't know. Although I do
Yes.
see her on the chat feature, so welcome, Christina Esser.
Yes. Hi, Christina.
And here's her video.
Hello, my name is Christina Esser. Lily Sassoon is my manager, and I am a mezzo-soprano young artist on the Sassoon Artists Management roster. Lily is amazing. I am so thankful to know her. She is incredibly supportive, and I'm always just so inspired by her sincerity, her love for opera, and just she constantly pushes us to be the best that we can, and I find that extremely valuable. During quarantine, I have been experimenting with multiple art forms. I am also a studio artist. I play a bit of piano, and I am of course a singer. So I have been trying to combine them and create virtual performances. So this piece that I am presenting is a part of a recital that I produced called Silent Voices. This one particularly is from Anna Bolena by Donizetti. It's Giovanna Seymour's aria, Ella di me sollecita. And what I've done is combined a sketch that I made while listening to the aria, and I am having that time lapse over the piece. And as the aria continues, I tried to line up the art so that the emotion of the art matches the emotion of the music. So I really hope you enjoy. Thank you so much, Jason Tramm, and thank you so much, Lily Sassoon, for bringing me on today.
Col doppio in me
And that was Christina Esser from California, and a beautiful aria and some beautiful artwork too. So, and played the piano as well. Multifaceted arts. It's great to meet you virtually.
Yes, yes. Uh, Jason, so I want now to give you my prophecies, so to speak, that I promised in the beginning of the show, that I would tell you what I think
Your
is going to
crystal
happen.
ball predictions. I look forward to hearing
Yeah,
it.
there's no science base. It's just my hunch, sort of. Uh, as far as the singers go, my singers would never say this out loud because they're all very polite people. But I tell this to them, especially my young singers, that this is the time of greatest opportunity for young, very talented, charismatic singers with the personality that pours out. That you walk in the room, you don't even sing, but they know you are a singer. The major opera houses, you would kind of expect them, as they all on the verge of bankruptcy. Even the Met is struggling. So I would think that the production, even those who are sponsored by big donors and Met does have money, they probably will still cut on the number of the stars for production. They would still have big stars who demand huge fees, but it would be more room for young artists who are not that well known yet for them to step in.
It's a good point because with everything being so challenging, yeah, it's a great time for young singers to break into business, to come out and be ready and come out of this, with new skills, working hard on your arias, put great examples on your website so that you can be promoted, and it's a great time to be ready.
That's why this is why I said learn as much music as you can while you have this time. And for the middle range opera houses, they slash the fees. They just pay less. I know one company in London, London Holland Opera, they slashed 22% salaries to the singers. And guess what? The singers did not walk away. They still accepted those cuts. So I would say, if you have confidence, exactly. But when you said put out your music, I don't think it's a good idea to put out a lot of music. Anyone will pay.
If you could repeat that last
Well,
part again, we
another
had a
thing,
little bit of connectivity there. Do repeat that last sentence again, that last thought.
put just bits of something if you want to put a teaser, but it should not be fully accessible. We live when it's all free and available. But then how would singers make a living if they don't get paid, right? So I would say the one of the venues could be that the singers can make money, and the opera houses probably should think of this, or any venue, is that yes, we do have broadcasts, we do have live streams, but I would say, there is an app, Snapshot, that you perform or you say something and then it disappears. So I would say you sign in, you pay your fee to watch something online, and then it should disappear. It should not be available once the performance is over. It should not be available to download, and it should not be available for sharing. And also, I would say there could be more opportunities for unique performances that can be only done once. That is another ideas, what I think can happen.
Sure. What do you think about for their websites or for the artists, for the managers' websites? I know when I was an opera casting person, I would always, the first step before I even hear an audition is to hear the links. They send me the links. I listen to an aria for beginning and end, and then we start, and then we hear them live. Has always been the tradition, at least since I've been in the business. But it's so important to hear that first aria to kind of get your foot in the door.
Absolutely. Oh, well, this I didn't say they shouldn't do this. And I would say, if you put on your website, you can put just 2 arias, contrasting arias, or I have on my website when I present my singers, then it has to be excellent, like excellent quality. And it has to be the music, the aria that grabs attention in the first 30 seconds, because that's what it is, the first 30 seconds. And if you hear this, you like it right away. If you don't like it, you're not going to keep listening after 30 seconds.
So cut out long introductions, cut out skip that stuff, because none of that, we don't want to hear that. We have the casting directors are very busy. They want to very quick, go through.
Exactly. So I tell them, if you have long orchestra or piano introduction, piano is fine, but do not take your time. Just go straight and choose the arias that showcase the best of your vocal, beauty, of your technique and of your charisma. And you have to sing and show, be in the moment, like be acting, be present in the song.
Great advice as people submit their arias, and that's just very good advice for young singers. So tell me about your artist, Christian Benedict. I didn't realize. Now, he's a very fine artist who made his Metropolitan Opera debut in Hermann this year in Queen of Spades, correct?
Yes. He was in Queen of Spades as Hermann. He is a Lithuanian tenor, dramatic tenor. And I do know him personally very well, I would say, as much I could have known him in several months that I know him. And so obviously he could not go anywhere. He was in Lithuania, and Lithuania opened their concert halls. They opened their country earlier than other places, and the singers who cannot wait to perform, and performances were on summer stages. They were not indoors. They were all outdoors, but they were full-blown performances with orchestra, with choruses, with people sharing stage. And then what happened, the chorus members starting to fall sick. And then eventually they shut down Lithuanian National Opera and Ballet. And then I was contacting Christian, and I said, I'm doing this show with Jason Tramm. Can you send me just a little update of what's happening in your country where you are? Because I already read that they had COVID spikes and they were shutting down. And then he said, because I've been diagnosed with COVID myself.
We lost that. Can you start that again? We just lost that one sentence. We don't want to miss a word of that. So say that again.
Opera and ballet. And Christian says, I would love to, but I cannot do it for you because I was diagnosed with COVID yesterday. And I said, it's awful. And I didn't mention, but I was sick with COVID myself. I was sick, and I was sick. That's when I came up with all my vision, how to do my opera management.
A COVID vision.
And COVID vision, exactly. I was in bed for 7 weeks. I couldn't do much, but my head was still working. So that's what I was doing. And when Christian said that he's sick, and I all came back to me how it is. And I said, please don't die, please. So many people want you and love you. Take care of yourself. And then I said to him, next day, I said, oh, you will tune in. Can I use one of your pieces? And I wanted to use a Turandot, Nessun Dorma. I thought we're going to finish the program with this. And he said, no, I would like you to use Othello. So it's just 1 minute clip. And right now he's in the hospital, Jason, not even at home.
So sorry to hear that. He's such a wonderful artist, and we all wish him the best. That's whenever it hits us directly, personally, it's we realize that this can be very serious, and that this pandemic is real, and we have to be aware of that at all times.
This is kind of a message to all the singers who could not wait to jump and sing in action. Here is Christian Benedict, who didn't. He went with his company. He went with the management. He went with the flow as everyone else did. And now he's sick and he's in a hospital. So he will be out of commission. I was sick for 8 weeks. It took me 8 weeks to get back to normal.
Wow.
I would tell, do not rush. Take the time to study and learn. Prepare if you have the access to recording. Prepare wonderful videos. Send them, on your website. My singers, I demand them to get only the best, and just wait a little bit longer than end up in a hospital. So we can listen to Christian, and I hope everyone joins me in wishing Christian speedy recovery. Just get well and get back on stage.
A wonderful artist, a fine person. I've never met him personally, but I know a lot of people like Natasha who've said such wonderful things about him. So we wish him a speedy recovery, and a lot of people are pulling for him to come back and make his art once again.
Yeah.
Before we listen to him sing it, Lily, well, how can people find out more about your company?
Well, they can go on my website, SassoonArtistManagement.com, and there you will see my artists and what I would think different. My presentation of my artists from other managers is that I'm very much concerned with the personality of a singer. So that first I see a person, and then this person is a singer. And I ask each one of my artists to write a little essay, a story, how they can say whatever they want, but I really want to know, why did they become an opera singer, what brought them, and each one of them wrote a personal story. And you see the resume, the resumes could be similar because there are only that many operas that you can sing, and they out to see many Aidas that you can sing, many Violettas, many Julius Caesar, but each person is individual. So they wrote their stories. And if you go on my website, you click on a picture of a photograph of a singer. You go on the personal page within my page, and then you would see, let's say, Natasha's story or Anastasia's story, and they give titles to their stories, and they talk what their favorite books are, how they grew up.
That's a wonderful idea. That's really interesting, because as a conductor, I'm always interested. I love to meet the artists, because to get to know them as people is so exciting. Because whenever I work in an opera, it's such a diverse international cast, and everyone's so interesting that's a very good idea to introduce people to more than just the artist, but the person as well.
You listen to the clip of this girl, Annabella Baric. See, she had the master's in archaeology. She was singing, but she had a degree in archaeology. And she said, that's it, I cannot do this anymore. I just have to go and sing opera. So when you know a little bit more, it's like the program notes for the contemporary music. You kind of hear the music, you don't know how to interpret, and the program notes help you to understand this. And when you read the biography, it's not a biography, it's a separate. Biography is a standard, and it's usually very standard, but it's a personal essay.
Very well put. Well, I encourage the listeners of the audience to go check it out, SassoonArtistManagement.com, and to get on there and to learn more about this this growing roster. And I wish you the absolute best, Lily, as you grow your business and get ready for opera to come back, and be ready. Tell those artists to get them ready, and I look forward to meeting some of your artists as well.
You would. We're gonna organize a concert in February, and I want to bring all my artists, and we're gonna do a concert.
Well, we'll certainly
And
be there.
yes, I have other ideas which I'm gonna keep as a secret for now.
Okay, well, we'll be following, and we're going to end the show with Christian Benedict. Before we do, I'd like to thank you for joining us at Music Matters 2020. We are a growing and unique podcast community, and please remember to subscribe, hit that bell for the most up-to-date information on upcoming guests and topics, like our videos on Facebook and share them, and remember, keep music alive.